Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Racecraft Simulations V8 Vets over 60s 2005 Championships. I'm John Van Ree. With me in the commentary box this evening was going to be Ed Fox, but due to COVID, I have managed to get myself Chris Blanchard. How are you, Blanchy?
I'm good, thanks, John. Thanks for having me up tonight. Always happy to be in reserve.
That's all right. Thank you for helping out on short notice. So rules are quite simple tonight. It's for this season or this championship, it's a 5-race championship. This is race 1. All drivers in this field are over 60. The man on screen is actually 70. So I've got 2 over 70 guys competing for the over 70 championships in the midst of all this. We have 12 drivers in the field. They are doing a shorter race. It's only 34 laps. They'll be in and out pretty quick around this place. And basically it is 1 compulsory pit stop, and they have 10-minute qualifying session to set themselves a time. And I have 3 lone laps. So time's starting to come in. Greg Sharp just set the fastest time of the 1:32.45. Ed Cullen, second man on the board with a 1:32.28. Todd Duggan late in the server, so didn't get much practice time. Don't underestimate the Nova Simsports driver. He will be very competitive in this environment as well. So, as you know, we run 4 splits in vets. These guys are a mix across all those splits, and definitely gonna see some very competitive racing in the mid-pack as well as up the pointy end. Let's have a look at this track, Chris. One of your favourites?
Yeah, I'm always been a fan of this track. I like the street circuits. It's bumpy. It adds the challenge to it. You got to race clean and stay clear of the walls. So yeah, love this one.
So we start at the start finish straight, which is on Sunset Drive. We then turn through turn 1, turn 2 fast sweeping right left combination, and then we come over the bridge at the canal, and then we head down Central Avenue where we get to the Fleming Straight, where we have to pull the car up and do the hard right-hand corner. It is very, very difficult to get around that corner at high speed. The guys have really got to concentrate on pulling it up. After the Fleming Straight, we sweep through another fast corner through turn 4 and then head up through turn 5 in Cross Picnic Way out onto the Strand. Now, fun fact for the night, the Strand is the only spot in the United States where you look south to see Canada. I bet you didn't know that, Chris.
No. It, every time you think south, you think of the Mexicans. So
Yeah. So we head down the Strand, another very difficult spot into turn 7 to pull the car up. They call this complex down here the casino. I like to call it the cricket pitch because it's one of 2 cricket grounds located on BELLE. And then we go around through turn 8, turn 9 and turn 10 past the James Scott Memorial Fountain. And for those playing along at home, no, it's not James Scott, the reigning Scots champion. We head back on to Sunset Drive. We hook around the point through turns 12 and 13 and then sweep through 14 back across the start-finish straight. And it's about a minute and a half to get around this place in these cars. A little bit slower than the old cars, but definitely still a fun circuit to race around.
Yeah, it's a brilliant circuit, and it challenges you. You've only got to get one set of corners wrong, and it really ruins your lap here. Costs you a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. And then fun fact too, James Scott, just going back to that Memorial Fountain, was a major philanthropist back in the 1920s in the Detroit area. Detroit used to be the richest city in the United States before New York took it over later on. And that's a big hit from Todd Duggan into the wall there. So I don't think you'd be too happy with that.
The pit crew better do some work there.
So Jim Caparonis has hit the lead at the moment with a 132.187. Buckland sitting in second, Sharp still in third. So these guys only got 3 minutes left to get this right. Caparonis racing for Southern Cross Racing this year, being coached by Hoffy quite intensely.
Yeah, there's nothing slow about some of these guys that are over 60. You got two races that are currently competing in split 1 each week. And when you look there at Jim, he's at the pointy end of split 2 at the moment. So there's some genuine pace out here.
Oh, absolutely. Like just looking down the list, you've got other guys there. Like you've got Todd Duggan, who races in split 2. He's quite a regular. He's bounced up and down between split 1 before. We said Caparonis as well. And then we've got a couple of guys in this field that have also competed in split 2 and working out. They've slipped back into split 3. So there's a couple of guys in this. I'm trying to get someone on track. David Logsdale, I think. There's David. There we go. It's found a wall. There's a few other blokes out there. Mark Peck has raced in split 2 before. I don't think Pecky's with us tonight. He's still coming back from his travels. Then we've got the likes of Pete Latham. Pete Latham's been in split 1 at one stage, so he's worked his way all the way up, but he's racing split 3 this season. And there's a few other guys back in that split 4 pack as well that I wouldn't say are slow, like Shane Patterson sets some cracking times. As you look on the board there, he's sitting in 6th at the moment, just behind his team boss, Duggan. So, yeah, you can't rule a few of these guys out. Ed Cullen can show a bit of pace on his day. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these lads go.
And somebody's only got to touch the wall, and it brings everyone into play. It's not about being the fastest around here. It's been about the cleanest and most consistent on your lines.
They're definitely going to be competitive. As we're on board here with David. So,
and if we talk about competitiveness, it's less than 4 100ths between pole and second place at the moment.
Going to say, talk about competitive. This bloke on screen is 74 years old. So when you lean back in the chair and have a look at our leader of Split 1 at the moment, Jordan Ross, 34 years difference. So that's pretty impressive, David. Rolling around here, getting the job done. So, no, his son Dean races in Split 2 and has won one of the lower grades as well on his way through. So definitely a great competitor. As these boys here look like they might all be done.
Great thing about sim racing, it gets everybody out having a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Got a couple of father-son combinations in the league now with Peter Latham as well. Peter's young bloke John. Everyone knows John, the very, very fierce competitor in our Split 1 pack and been around for a very long time. And the other fun fact as the boys go into their warm-up, the other fun fact, of course, is as well that Peter Latham is one of the OGs. So he raced in season 1, round 5 was his starting race. So he goes way back, way back. Dave Leslie, who I don't think is with us this evening, another one in our over 60s group, started in season 3. So there's a few boys. Pecky was season 4. A few of these boys have definitely been around a few times. Marshy was season 4 as well. So yeah, these lads definitely have, Marshy, season 4. So these lads have definitely been around. And then we go from that extreme, Chris, all the way down to blokes that have just started this season or last season. So,
yep, and it just keeps on growing. The allure of vets, it's right from those beginnings. It just keeps on growing each year.
Yeah, that's right.
More and more people.
That's right. Already got well over 10 on the waiting list for next season already.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And it just shows the concept works.
As these boys now just doing their warm-up. It's going to be interesting, as you can see in the background there. Not sure who that was, but you can see may have been Dave Log. No, it wasn't Logsdale. Not sure. That walls around here will affect the car if you hit it on a 30-degree angle. You get it square, you might be all right. You get it square on the side, I mean, but if you get it off angle, you will affect the steering very quickly.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about this car, this Gen 2 car that iRacing has bought. The damage model is so much different than the old Gen 2s. They take a little bit more damage. The damage is a little bit more realistic. And so if you only glance the wall, you'll get away with it. But as you said, if you hit with some angle, you're going to have some issues.
It's interesting how these boys all go. You guys getting around, making the most of their lap here or two, just to get the nerves out of the system. Make sure it's starting. Get a practice start in. And then, of course, the other optimum one you want to try and do is make sure you know where pit entry is.
Oh, especially on this track.
Comes very quick.
Comes very quick in the amount of times we've seen a car sideways blocking the pit entry here. It tends to happen very often.
Orliff missing next week. Vaughan, no, this is live, mate. This is live racing this evening, not pre-recorded. System's just gone whoop whoop. I had to say that, didn't I? You still with me, Chris?
Yep, I'm still here.
And I've lost all picture of iRacing. That's happened. Heck. It's gone whoop whoop.
Okay.
2 seconds. Let's just throw an ad up. That's what happens when you're live.
Introducing the Racecraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion.
And we're back, I think. Should be back. Give it a second. There it is.
Yep.
Righto. So very quickly, the grid is Greg Sharp, Jim Caparonis, Garry Buckland, Phil Whiting, Todd Duggan, Shane Patterson. And then after that, we've got Pete Latham, Ed Cullen, Mike Corliff, Phil Marsh got in front of Anita Buckland, and Lucas Burt and David Logsdale didn't set a time.
Must have had issue with the wall.
Must have found it, yep. So I'll get rid of that, sorry. I'll reposition the fan to try and blow more air into the PC. Hopefully that's not what's causing it. I'd say it would be based on the fact it was 40 degrees here today. Yes, that is 1 CPS is correct. Just going back 1 second. Coming through you. Like, these boys aren't too far away from going. I could probably throw the grid screen up real quick. So Sharp, Caparonis on the front row, Buckland, Whiting, Duggan, Patterson, Latham, Cullen, Corliff, Marsh, Buckland, Peter Baxter is our race control. And then over the screen, we have Logsdale and Burt, and Dean, of course, is our other race controller, Lucas and David at the rear. So that is our makeup of the grid. Get everything back up on the screen.
I think we're going to see some very interesting battle packs tonight.
Oh, I think there'll be some very tight racing amongst these guys. Sharpie on the front row, that's probably a good start for him. He'd be pretty happy with that.
Right. Engines are up.
Lights are going on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Green flag, we're away. Sharp has
stalled
it. He's got it going. But it's allowed Caparonis and Buckland to get through quite quickly and quite early here. So 34 laps, 1 compulsory pit stop. Car's very quiet from TV2. I don't know why TV2's giving me helicopter, but anyway. Coming down into turn 3 for the first time.
On the wall there.
Oh, I missed that.
Car 47.
Shane Patterson.
Pato ended up on the wall. I don't know if he pulled in front of his teammate.
Rex is driven straight in, so, and apologies, I just realised, because I normally do recorded broadcasts, that my splash screen for replays is wrong, so apologies. But Super Cheap are a major sponsor of WK&P, so I'll let that slide for this evening. It's SDK's decided to stop now.
Gotta love things when they're live.
Go back to live. There we go. That's what the story is. Caparonis is already comfortable from Buckland. Let's have a look where Sharp's ended up. Sharp's back down in 7th spot. He's got the car running, but he's got a lot of work to do with quite a few quick guys in front of him.
We're seeing that a lot with these new Gen 3s. People are still struggling to get them off the line. We've had it in vets. I've had it myself the last 2 races. The car in front of me has stalled each time, so the cars behind him did well there not to make contact with him. Here's
a great talking point, Chris. Phil Whiting in P3, the split 4 driver. That is a great start from him. So as we start lap 2, and has a handy little gap back to Corliff, who's under pressure from Todd Duggan. Jump on board with Duggan. That's a bit of a look on the inside. Backs in behind. Corliff can part the cars in front of him. has a nickname of Moses, but can quite easily also make that Mustang as wide as they come. Don't underestimate what he can and can't do. Definitely. I'm sorry, Chris.
I was going to say this with them fighting is definitely helping Whiting as well. You know, open that gap up.
Yeah, that gap's out to 3.5 seconds now. Of course, Sharp, our pole sitter, he is sitting at the back of this group. So he'd be wanting to get around these guys so he can get after Whiting. But as we know, Detroit, very, very difficult place to pass.
So Pato did pit after that damage on lap 1.
He did, yep.
Yep, he has pitted. But you'll have to refresh me. The same rules as for vets. Lap 1 doesn't count.
Yeah, pretty much. The only change was 1 CPS. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to come through the lane again.
So we'll keep an eye on this battle. This battle here is absolutely electric. Sharp tucked in behind these boys.
And during this, you've just got to be sizing up the cars in front of you just to look to see if there is any weakness, because these cars are so hard to pass now. Much harder than the older Gen 2, so you'd be taking notice every lap of what the car in front of you is doing, just looking for a weak spot.
Definitely a track, though, where Slipstream didn't really have a big game to play, so... You just...
No,
yeah.
The strand is sort of not really long enough for the slipstream in these cars to come into play.
Nah. Got to get that exit coming out of Picnic Way.
Yep.
As you can see in the front there, Duggan having a look on Whiting, on Korolev. So some tight racing with this 4. And he's going to go back up the front. Caparonis now starting to come under pressure from Buckland.
Jim being a relative newcomer to sim racing with Garry, who's very experienced behind him. Be interesting to see how Jim handles this.
Garry, very experienced competitor. So Garry, of course, with 127 starts, 1 win to his name. So definitely would be looking to get past here.
Get past or just keep the pressure on for mistake. Only thing is, if you pressure a mistake, you've got to make sure you don't get caught up in it.
That's exactly right. That's where it gets real tricky. Benny, yeah, over 50s, we have just under 100 and just under 100 in the 40s category. So those championships will be run later this year. But we thought we'd start with the 60s, get a feel for where the excitement's at, as Caparonis under a lot of pressure.
I was just going to say, asking for a friend, can we split the 50s into 55s and above and under? There's a couple of people I just want to stay under.
No, there'll be a bit of pre-qual going on. It's Ed Cullen's had an incident. Might just go have a look what's happened to Ed. Not sure what's going on there. This is coming onto the Fleming straight. A little bit wide. That's Anita, so I wasn't showing Anita. I wanted Ed. Here's Ed. Coming down. He's come in hot and just overshot it. Played the smart move, pull her up instead of trying to make the corner.
Yep, he did the right thing. Made sure he didn't involve anyone else.
Yeah, live to play another day. As Caperonis has pulled away. Sharp has got past Duggan. Oh, Duggan, sorry, he's caught up to the back of this battle. No, Sharp past Duggan, sorry, correction.
Yep, no, because it was a battle group of 4.
Yeah.
So that's one down for Greg. Let's see how he can work on the next, Peter Latham in front of him next.
Working very hard in this group here. Still pressure from behind.
Greg's running a very nice line through there where Pete was a bit over the place. He's got the run.
4 wide. Latham holding the inside from Sharp.
Yep, should make it hard for him. Yep, he holds the spot.
Great driving by Latham here.
Oh, that getting up in the curves costs you. But he's holding it.
He's holding it. That is a great little battle. Some 3 very, very experienced drivers here.
Room given and, not going for a gap that's not there.
Of course, Coral, if one of them brains behind the OSR, has many, many, many races in OSR and OSR Dev. Sharp, though, looking to get around Latham as quick as he can here. They're already 7 laps down. This race ticking away very quick. John in the chat saying Pete's having a bit more luck tonight. He has been. It's going to go back. Ed Cullen's working his way back through now. So putting the pressure on David Logsdale. And coming into the lane. Latham under pressure again. Patterson's involved in an incident. We'll come back to that in a second.
Somebody just went straight there at the back.
I'd say that was Patterson.
Yep.
And
see it in the background.
Sharp and Duggan get past. Caperonis and Buckland in an accident. What has happened here? This is coming down the strand. He's blown his motor.
Is that what Jim's done?
Yeah, Jim's blown his motor, lost control and has blocked the track for Buckland. Buckland gets himself back out and gets going. That allows Whiting through.
Yep.
Whiting is our race leader.
Split 4 driver in front.
A split 4 driver in front. Would not have seen this.
Oh, I thought it did. You only got to touch the walls or something happened here and it can throw it wide open. You know, it's not just the fastest.
So that has definitely changed the field, given a carrot for Buckland. Sharp, Duggan and Latham are all in the lane.
Yep. Korolev stayed out.
And Caperonis, it's got the car stationary, so I've got a feeling we might be under safety car here.
We are. I'm just listening to the comms. He's called the safety car.
That will be interesting then. I can see why the other boys have dived into the pits quickly.
Yeah, so Whiting stayed out, Korolev stayed out, Garry Buckland has stayed out.
And Dean, our safety car driver, in the Racecraft Simulations McLaren 750 Evo GT3. He's definitely sitting out there, so this will liven the field up a little bit as well.
So what's the crucial number for him to make home, John?
They got full 100% tank, so 34 laps.
Oh, I think the guys that stayed out may have sold themselves short here.
May have. But then again, another safety car, anything can happen. So
Yes.
safety cars always breed safety cars, and safety cars do bring a little bit of strat to the game as well. So as we look back to Phil Whiting, our race leader.
So I just wonder if Jim's blown motor is a team thing. You know how Hoffy always goes for fuel saving, and are they running the engines too lean?
Could be an issue. But definitely something for everyone to think about moving forward for Thursday night when we go back to our regular split racing. Coming down, banging the gears hard at the bottom of the strand, probably not a great thing to do.
No, and it seems to be a common thing in these cars. Watkins Glen was renowned for it there. As you come over the hump.
Of course, no drop rounds in a 5-race series, so that could be quite costly as well as Nita ducks into the lane.
So Paddo's definitely well pitted. He's been in the lane 3 times.
3 times now. I got him down twice, but anyway.
Mine's showing 3. I don't know why.
Yeah. And may get a wave around if he's lucky.
Yeah, he just asked because they were going to haul the safety car in at this lap.
Been trying to see where he's on track. He's with the group, so.
Yeah, he's definitely down a lap. But they haven't. Yep, they're just confirming if they're going to give Paddo a wave around.
Yep.
Yep, they're going to do it.
Yep, car's all ducking to the left side of the circuit.
So the way this... Car 47's already gone. So the way I'm looking at this, with the front three having not made a pit stop, it'll essentially make Sharpie in car 747 our effective leader.
Pretty much at this stage, yeah.
Once the others pit.
Like I said, the lead 3 cars need to go hammer and tong, try and get a big gap and hope for another safety car.
Yeah. That's their biggest hope. They've got to hope that the field behind them gets held up.
And safety car pulling away. Keep an eye on Dino here.
What's he going to do?
It was race control volunteering their time for this series, so Dean, not a regular in the McLaren, but gets it in the lane quite well. So Bill will have now control of the field.
He's holding them.
It's going to take him all the way.
He's going to the stop-finish line by the looks of it.
Yeah. Surprise!
Yep.
Surprise! Nobody tried the overlap. As we're back to green flag racing.
And he held it until he was on the line. You didn't hear the note of the engine change until he was there.
Buckland having a good look here, though. See the boys behind a bit movie, bit racy as well.
I tell you what, it's a good-looking car, that safety first car.
Passion Sim Racing boys done a great job with their livery. Everyone here trying to get back into the swing.
On their rhythm again.
Yep.
And the front two are starting to pull a little small gap. Car's been a bit lighter.
That's what they got to do. As Anita just gets past David. Have a look. Marshy. He's tucked up behind Lucas Bird here. Sorry, just has Ed Cullen tucked up behind him. Sorry, I'll correct myself. Todd, Duggan and Sharp. So these are the two leading guys that made their pit stop. Oh!
Oh, who was that?
That was Foss. Managed to hang on to it though. Concrete either side, he hasn't touched it. That's some driving in itself. Brought Bert back up behind him though. Coraliff now under a bit of pressure from Sharp. Sorry, putting a bit of pressure on. Under pressure from Sharp, sorry. These guys here definitely racing away with a little bit. Whiting under pressure from Buckland.
Bill's driving well. Biggest thing here, Greg's just not got a panic. He's only got a hold position. He doesn't really need to do anything silly to put a move on.
He'd be well aware of that. Plenty of experience. Plenty of experience with Greg. Over 118 starts in the league. First started in season 9. Had another one of these guys when I did my homework. Had 21 pages of race starts in Sim Racer Hub.
I thought you'd have the stats for me where you tell me what the total amount of kilometres all these guys have done in vets.
I didn't quite dig that far this afternoon.
You're not a true stats man then, are you?
Got to put a lot of other things together at the same time, Chris. Hey. Oh, I think he's holding off Buckland quite well here. Sharp putting a lot of pressure on Coraliff now. Duggan hanging onto the back of him here. So our pole sit up. Whoop, what was that?
Oh, Whiting just got a bit sideways, but he held it. He's retained his spot. His tyres would be starting to show a bit of age.
Working quite hard. Well, a little bit overshot the corner there at the casino.
This is where in these cars, when the tyres get down to this, you really just got to knuckle down and work on not overdriving the car and just drive. If you drive within yourself, it's still very hard for someone to get past you. Once the tyres are worn.
Garry having a good hard look here.
Yeah, and this is the closeness of these cars and the closeness of these vets. You've got a split 4 driver holding out a split 1 driver, and the racing is competitive.
It is very competitive. And answer your question, Ben, no relation. He's doing very well here. Buckland would know he's got to get past and get cracking. Coraliff's only 3 seconds back, holding up Sharp and Duggan. But Latham slowly closing that gap back down to those two.
And Korolev is doing Phil and Garry a favour here. Like, that's now up. I'm just watching the numbers. That's growing sector by sector up to 3.7 seconds. You know, the more that Mike is holding up Greg, it's working in favour of these two guys.
It definitely gives them more opportunity. We'll just roll back with those two guys for a minute. Sharp still trying to have a bit of a look here. Getting right up behind Korolev. Korolev nicely placing the car on the inside. Almost 3 wide. Sharp tucks back in behind again. Duggan millimetres behind.
Four and a half seconds, that's now grown to. These guys are going to run their tank dry to get as much advantage out of it as they can. First and second. And Gary's got him.
Gary's got him, yep. Let's just have a look at that overtake. Going down into the bottom of the strand. Nice distance to the car. Bill backs off, lets him through.
Yep, nice clean move by both.
Yep. The next big move to happen here has to be Sharp on Korolev. Time for Buckland to put the hammer down and go. He was nearly a second faster than Sharp last lap, was Buckland, so looks like Duggan's got the run this time. Sharp blocking the inside. Latham closes that gap back down to about a second behind.
That happens a lot of the time when you're looking to attack the car in front. You make yourself vulnerable to the one behind you.
Yep. Of course, all these races for this series are 125 kilometres long. So only 6 laps shorter than what they're racing on Thursday night, because we've got a 150. But when we start getting into the longer races in the back half of the season, these boys appreciate the shorter races. These boys here all over the back of each other.
Pretty sure Greg's sick of looking at the back of Mike's car.
Working pretty hard at it. Here we go.
Oh, is he gonna have a go?
Oh, he's having a look. Korolev's taking her all the way out to the outside, the over and under. Duggan's going to pull it off here. No, wheel spin. That's cost it. Lit it up. That cost him. That gap definitely well and truly opened up, though. It's about 7 seconds out now to Whiting. But
nice move by Greg there, because Mike tried to squeeze him.
he definitely did. Might just watch that again, and that was worth having a look at. And Mike squeezes him. Greg holds his line, gets the turn in. Todd has a bit of a look. Of course, at that stage, you want to be getting the power down early. That's all that's happened to him. A little bit of wheel spin, costly. And in the meantime, David Logsdale been involved with a bit of an incident as well. I think coming down into bottom of Central Avenue. Goes in a bit hard, finds the cushion. So hopefully he's got that thing going.
2 leaders are in the pits.
I'm just wondering whether we might have a safety car here.
Left-hand side.
The others diving in. I think we might be under safety car.
No, he hasn't called it yet. He's only called a caution. Safety car hasn't moved.
Hasn't moved, so it's only allowed the others to get themselves out of trouble, to say the least. Safety car is stationary. So the guys that stopped on lap 7 have now rolled through.
Oh,
Sharp, he's missed it.
yep, he's missed it. He's cost himself big time.
Let's let 3 through. Duggan has got past Latham. I just want to have a look at that again. It hasn't popped up on my system, so another mistake from Greg.
Okay, safety car, safety car, safety car.
There we go.
Do not overtake.
Yep.
Safety car has been called. Just past half race distance. So Phil Whiting involved in something as well. Just coming out after his pit stop. Just locked it up and gone deep as well. Does he get around here? Yep. And let's have a look what happened to Sharpie from the helicopter. I think he's done the same thing, been caught out by the car on the cushion. Yeah, lock up. Realised he wasn't going to make it. Yeah.
Just a little bit too much steering angle you can see he put in there rather than being dead straight under brakes. And as soon as he put the steering angle in, she locked up the right hand front.
Of course, the car parked in there as well. Duggan's gone in for another set of tyres. So's Marsh. So some interesting moves going on here. That's rolled Latham out to be our race leader. About to pick up the safety car.
So I've, Duggan and Marsh on fresh tyres. And so Latham, Cullen and Sharpie, their tyres now getting very old. We've got Lucas Burt in there as well. And Anita. So they've been out for a fair while. Their tyres be very old, so it'll be interesting to see if we're at half distance.
How they go?
And those, if those cars that have only one pitted, they're fielded to the end. And we'll see if it's a worthwhile gamble for these guys to take the fresh set.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Say the least. Pete Latham, the fossil himself from Shadow Racing, sitting in the P1 position from his teammate Ed Cullen. A bit of a shadow 1-2 at the moment. Sharp from WK&P in third. Lucas Burt from Old Mates and Sons leads the Old Mates and Sons with Anita and Garry sitting behind. Of course, Garry, though, pitted on lap 16. He's going to have the fresher tyres along with Duggan, Whiting, Marsh. Paralift's gone in. Paddo's in for the pits as well. Caparonis is, I think, on the same lap. Just waiting for it to tick over. He may be entitled to a waiver round. I think he's entitled to a waiver round.
Yes, he is. And they're just sorting that out now, I think.
Bit off the train note, so it'll be race control's discretion if he gets it or not. Just looking at the track map.
Yeah, he's a bit far behind.
As they cross the start-finish stripe. Dean Logsdale. He's already got 3 laps in the books tonight. So, going his 4th. Caperonis getting the wave around. This has allowed Pato to get onto the back of the pack as well. Ross Watson saying Garry needs to make sure that this next pass is a clean one, otherwise he'll be on the couch.
I think if you've seen the photo of their sim set up, I think they'll be talking between each other.
It'll be coordinated. Lovely couple. Dave Worrell had the pleasure of taking him for a spin around Sydney Motorsport Park around this time last year. What a blast. Have enough time for the wave round. I reckon the safety car will be off pretty quick here, Matt.
Yeah, well, they won't. I doubt very much they'll wait for Jim to catch, so he should be in at the end of this lap.
There's nothing in the book about having to wait for him to get back round onto the back of the pack.
No, as long as they're clear of the leaders, that they won't, that they won't catch them within a few laps. Normally, it's right to let them go.
Yeah, and safety car pulling away. Been giving it a bit of stick. Nicely gets it in. One piece. Lane there, not a great camera shot. And it sounds like Pete has gone.
He's gone early.
So Cullen under a bit of pressure from Sharp behind. They got a good jump back to Burt and Buckland. Sharp
Having a look.
gets it pulled up on the inside. That's Sharp through. Garry's got himself through on Todd Duggan. Sorry, Todd Duggan's got him and Anita. Need to make these new tyres pay. That's what Buckland does. And so does Duggan. This is going to be a great... Oh, that sounded like someone in the wall in the background. That was Anita, I think. And the replay. What's happened here? A little bit wide. Car on the inside. A bit of a tap with Whiting. Two of them involved. Leave that one for race control. What's Lucas Burt done? Coming down into the strand. And he's lost control as well. So a few things happening around the track at the moment as we go back to live pictures. Harry Buckland putting a fair bit of work on. It's Mr. Split One's joined us. Scotty Rankin, how are you?
Don't call me Mr. Split One yet, mate. I don't know if I'd qualify for Split One.
I'm talking commentary. I wouldn't go that far.
Hey, you guys got.
Look, my mouth runs quick enough that it could qualify for Split One.
Latham under a bit of pressure from Sharp here still.
I was going to ask, Scott, have you worked out I'm doing such a bad job here as the offside? Are you coming to help me, have you?
Mate, John, I already got your message. I don't live in Grafton anymore, mate. I can't go and stab him so he falls out of the chair.
I heard you're living pretty close to the highway, though.
Yeah, close, but look, it's still a fair way. I don't know.
You know now, Scott, you classify as a downriver person. And that puts you lowly, as you
Ooh.
know.
Garry making a move here. No, tucks in back behind Ed. So 3.5 seconds up the road to Sharp from these three.
Mate, you need to change the name. It's not over 60s, it's ultra vets.
Yeah, I have been told it's been called that. These boys are putting on a show. I will admit that much.
Have they at least dived into their season entry gift bags yet, which contains ibuprofen, deep heat, and a ticket to the Y for the next day off work?
You've looked in my hockey bag, haven't you?
Bruce McLeod saying so, South Grafton for the win.
Southies. Oh, yeah.
Right. I always wondered why he sounded a bit funny and a bit off and not right in the head. Makes a lot
Yeah.
more sense.
Yep, south of the river.
Of course, you three all got together and had drinks together, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We did actually.
Yes, we caught up a couple of months ago.
Convenient, actually. I've actually just walked back in from the same place we had dinner, lunch at. So,
Where was my invite?
my brother put on a very, very nice $90 tomahawk, which was a great piece of meat. Brilliant piece of meat. You missed out, man. You actually really missed out.
That's it. When's Bruce coming to town next so we can have our next meet up?
Apparently Bruce's mum just about taught everyone in Grafton.
I wouldn't be saying that too loud, Bruce.
Science teacher.
She was teaching biology.
Said he'd be up there soon.
I haven't got YouTube. Oh, yes, I have. I do have YouTube on. I should be reading the comments. There's too many screens here in front of me.
And Sharpie's still working very hard. Only 3 and a bit seconds ahead of Buckland now, so he really needs to work hard to get past Latham.
And Todd hasn't put a move on Garry either, so...
But Ed's coming up to the back of this pack. Or the back of the lead too.
Gary's got a decision to make here, and Greg's got the same. So what they're looking at the moment, and you know, is do you just back off a little bit, save a little bit of tyre, and just be a little bit more smart with how you go about this, or do you really try and press up?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Difficult part is that the longer you sit closer, the hotter your front tyres get, the worse they get.
Yeah. The worse your fronts get, the worse you get as well. You start driving to the car in front, not to your own braking markers. And you're trying to pressure them to make that little mistake. The last thing is you don't want to make the same mistake as them that you've just pressured them into. That gap now 2.6.
And that's the biggest problem. By the time you've pressured them into the mistake, your tyres are that hot, you can't take advantage of it.
So don't be surprised if we see the Ed Cullen, Buckland, Duggan show on the back of this pack shortly. You can see them there down the back of the Central Avenue. The other three cars battling away. Looks like Garry might have got past Ed. He squeezes through, and look at that. Todd Duggan, bang, straight away into it. Picks up the crumbs.
And that's where Ed just had to be a little bit smarter about the way he did that. As soon as Garry got to his inside, he just needed to go, yep, I've got to make sure I only give up one here. Don't necessarily worry about fighting the spot. Sometimes when you do that, you just get trapped, right? You get trapped, you lose too. Might have been a little bit of door-to-door contact, I would say.
Just a little bit. So now the battle really opens up. 2.5 seconds up the road to Sharp and Latham. Those two boys pitted on lap 7. These two guys, 16 and 17. They got the newer tyres. And we've got roughly about 10 laps to go. So this is going to be a battle and a half.
I'm assuming we're only going for one compulsory here.
Yes, correct. Of course, Todd, the only guy to make 2 stops. Shane Patterson sitting back in 7th, made 3. And apart from Phil Marsh and Jim Caparonis for injuries, the rest of these boys have all made their solo compulsory stop. So Garry now got that gap down to 1.6. His eyes will be looking at those tail lights on the Chev in front of him from Greg Sharp. Sharp and he's looking at the numbers close.
And I'm just watching here. It doesn't really look like Greg's putting that much pressure on Peter either.
Ah,
About a lap and a half ago, going through the final sector, he was probably about 20 centimeters off his rear bumper the whole way through the last sector.
Has he backed off just to give the tyres a break, or is it he just can't maintain that gap?
I'd say he's made a mistake, just lost it. Or he looked weak. Where Greg looks weak is on the braking down into turn 3. He lost a fair margin to Pete down there, so.
so our 4 leading cars are now nose to tail. Duggan back here in P4 has clear view of what he needs to do. That's pushing it.
The interesting part to watch there, Johnny, was that you noticed that Todd was wide at the first apex for the second last corner, and then Garry missed the last corner. So they're both definitely pressing on.
We've had an accident a bit further down the back with Whiting and Burt, and yes, he's in the Mustang. I thought Greg was Chef Boy. Oh! Bit of wheel spin coming out of the corner there. Leave that one for race control to talk about.
Oh. Nelly got Jim there too when he moved backwards.
I tell you, Lucas Burke cannot take a trick at the moment. He is just really, really struggling. He's not happy. Every time he seems to be getting in the car, something seems to be happening to him. Something goes wrong. And yep, he's not a happy boy. Unfortunately, he's had a very frustrating, I would say, probably about last month in sim racing terms.
Yes.
Well, he's been out of the car for a while through injury, like hasn't been at full kelter.
Look at this. This is impressive. All 4 of them together. Ed's slowly latching onto the back of him again.
I was going to say it looks like Ed's getting closer.
Well, I did message Mr. Korolev a little bit earlier in the evening. I guess I can understand now why he didn't reply.
He's got his hands full there. He's up 3 spots, back in 6th. A bit of lap traffic coming up here as well, just to make it a bit more interesting. Sharp having a look. It's a big dive. He gets the job done, but looks like Buckland's going to go through with him here.
I was going to say, looks like it's going to cost Phil too.
And
it might be 3. Yep, it's cost him 3 spots.
Yeah. All I can say is the Gen 3 can take a side hit compared to the old car. So it is on now between Sharp and Buckland. So
They don't just rotate off each other as well. They can take contact on all 4 corners and be fine.
So Duggan sitting in the background here.
Yeah, he's pushing it on that corner entry, isn't he?
Yeah.
Struggling for fronts. He's not.
Yes.
The rear is very, very planted in that car at the moment, but the front is not happy.
course, with the sup rigs out, the definitely be a tyre management race this Thursday night. So interesting watching some of these numbers. Buckland having a bit of a look. Not close enough this time around.
And David Loxdale's just retired.
And Mike Corral's involved in something. Go to the replay there. He's on his own. I don't see anyone next to him. This is coming down, of course, Central Avenue. Overshot the corner again. Gets it pulled up. And safely tucks in behind Pato.
No damage, no one else affected.
Yep.
Very good. Very smart.
Back onto this battle here between Greg and Garry, our T-Split 1 drivers in the pack. Taken 3/4 of the race for these two boys to show the pace that they've got. Todd Duggan hanging on to the back of these guys still too. Don't rule Duggan out here.
Gary's staying big in Greg's mirrors, that's for sure. Yeah, Greg got good drive out of that turn too. No real place for Garry to get a toe down there.
It's really turn 2, turn 7 around this place. If you can nail that every time, it's going to be hard for someone to get you. But Garry definitely all over the back of Greg now.
Now let's see on the strand. Now he's still not close enough, I don't think.
Considering you don't get the toe like you used to. Been some great racing though in this first round.
And it looks like Greg settled the car down a little bit. It's not pushing the front as much anymore. Either he's not overdriving it, or he's just adjusted his bias a bit to suit better.
Duggan at the back of this group still. He's got a clean eye on the 2 leaders. Riding on helmet cam, parked on the side of his helmet. But Garry had a little bit more drive this time. Greg car very balanced. So laps ticking down for these boys.
Oh,
Pushing it.
yep. He's got to. I mean, he's
Yeah. So 4 to go. We are getting into the back end of this race.
I wouldn't say Greg's got it over Garry at the moment, but just that they're so equal, unless there is a mistake made, I just can't see Garry getting the position, getting the lead.
It's just, I guess, in terms of Sharpie, how bad are those tyres?
Hmm.
Well, I think the biggest key is that, and this is just Garry just trying to harass him at the moment because he knows that he's not going to be able to get in at the back straight. He's just trying to fill that mirror. The big key for Greg Sharp is that the drive. You remember how he got Peter was got the drive off of turn 2, set it up to go down into turn 3 in a really, really strong spot, and that's what set all of that off. If he did not get that drive, he'd be in problems. And for Greg, that's also his biggest asset in defense because he's got him covered off, so he knows what he's doing.
And there's 9 laps difference between their tyres. It's a big difference.
It's a very big difference, particularly this late in the race. Sharpie, hang on. Let's go have a look what happened to Phil Whiting. Sure what's happened to Phil. Coming down Central Avenue as well. I think another one has just gone too deep.
Yep, same again.
Same again. Jump.
Just that little bit of steering angle, wanting to turn in that bit early. It's bringing them undone.
There you go. Peter was focused on the back marker as well. A little bit of break in his focus. Now 3 laps to go. 2 3/4.
Todd sitting back there hoping that Garry makes a move on Greg and it all comes undone.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just doesn't seem like Garry can get close enough at the moment to make that move.
We've had a bit of everything in this race, which has been great. We've had some of the boys from the lower splits poke their noses in. There we go. We just found out what's happened to Pete Latham. It was the spotter's fault.
I was about to say, I wouldn't let Bruce McLeod anywhere near the spotter's chair in my car ever.
You know it'd be analysed well.
Yeah. Just thinking that. Again, a little bit closer. 2.5 tenths. Greg getting very good drive though out of turn 2.
Garry tried to fill up his mirror a little, just
Yeah.
to see if he can break his concentration.
We're in the penultimate lap. That's either got to be a Hail Mary dive, I think.
It's been something Gary's really been working on lately. Oh, he thought about it. He did think about it.
Bit closer this time.
Unless if he does the dive here under brakes.
Already on one way. Greg's solid down here.
Yeah, he's putting the car in a good spot.
Oh, there you go. There's the
Oh.
mistake.
Yeah.
It's touched. There's a touch. Duggan's going to. Oh, Duggan's caught out as well.
Oh.
Greg gets it back. Garry.
Garry will go straight away. He'll know.
That'll be on race control, that one.
Yep.
And I think the man is going to come out on top of this as we go into the last lap. Be the one and only Pete Latham. Head coloured. Shadow Racing 1-2. Garry running there. That'll be in the hands of the stewards.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what they think of that.
Oh, I think
How?
everyone knows quite comfortably.
Yeah.
Well, there was a mistake from Greg. And yes, it started it. He lost his pace.
It's unfortunate, but you cannot make front to rear contact like that and get away with it.
Nah.
No.
Garry Buckland is our race leader at the moment. We'll leave whatever happens to probably post-race with the stewards.
You'll know.
Pete Latham is sitting in second. That is a fantastic result for Pete. He'd be pretty chuffed with that. And Ed Cullen will be sitting third. Pato's got himself up to sixth. Toddy Duggan is fourth. Sharpie is fifth. So sort of saying about Todd sitting there back waiting for something to happen, and it did. And he got caught first man at the scene of the accident.
Sometimes you can be too close.
Yeah. A little bit unlucky there for a few of the boys. But they did put on a good show as Garry Buckland crosses the line. He takes the checkered flag. Whether he keeps it's another story. Pete Latham home in second. And third place was Ed Cullen. Toddy Duggan brings it home in fourth for Nova Simsports. Greg Sharp for WK&P in fifth. And Shane Patterson in sixth. A great result for Pato. Mike Kroliff in seventh. Jim Caparonis into eighth. Anita Buckland ninth, up 2 spots. Marshy comes home first for our over 70s. Done a great job out there tonight. Back on Marshy. And he brings it home in one piece. And Lucas Burt. What's up?
I was just listening to the race comms there, and Sharpie admitted that he was having fuel issues as well. It was running short.
Ah, there you go. Trying to save a bit of fuel. So
Yes.
we might just have a quick look at that. Hopefully they'll send us drivers. Race control, we'll leave that one. Gary's doing some burnouts as we wait to hear from some of our drivers. What a round one, Chris. Had everything.
It was entertaining. That's the one thing for it. If anybody thought that this might have been a bit pedestrian, I think this racing has proved it wrong, because it was well open there at several times.
Yeah, definitely some changes, some interesting moves. Tough track. Just to think that was with 12 cars or 13 cars. Wait till we see it with 45 cars on Thursday night. It's going to be hard work.
I still have nightmares in season 14, I think it was, doing race control here in Split 2, and we had 5 safety cars in the first 20 laps.
Yeah,
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a very big nightmare. Like you said, he was a little bit slow off the curb. A little bit of an opening there. Gary's had a thought about it. And then, yeah, just clips the back of Greg.
You just see a puff of smoke there, like he locked the wheel as well. Just before the contact.
65, 12 and 515 will be coming in to see us. So I've got a feeling Gary's been penalised with that one. So based off race control, post-race 30-second penalty for Buckland. So that's what's been awarded to him. Pete's using the Pro Series penalty system, but we'll take it. I'll run with what Pete does. What he says goes. He's chief race steward. So Pete Latham is our race winner, followed by Ed Cullen and Todd Duggan. So it is a Shadow Racing 1-2. That is pretty special from these blokes. I'm sure Bruce McLeod's already written in there that he's been sacked as a driver. He's now the team spotter. And just waiting for these boys to rock in somewhere where I can grab them. They turn up. And
look, just before Garry shows up, can we give Greg Sharp a pair of boxing gloves? That'd be nice.
Actually,
fair enough. And
my question was, before that incident, how much further back was Pete Latham before that incident? Yeah, he's done well out of that.
yeah, I think he was about 2 seconds back out of memory. Our chief race steward's joined us. How are you, Peter?
Well, boys, how you going?
How'd you find that one?
It's a pretty casual race, actually. You know, a couple of pretty simple things, but I'll tell you what, there's some really enjoyable racing because the guys who are fast got themselves stuck in the field. So, yeah, on a track that was difficult to race. So it was good fun.
Too easy. Looks like we're not going to get anyone to come in and have a chat to us. So what we might do is we might just have a quick chat about where we are next week. And of course, next week we are following the Vets calendar for another lovely 34-lap race at Okayama. That'll be another testing track, not a little bit of a technical one. Any thoughts on that circuit, boys?
Well, you are right. It is a very technical circuit. It does test people. It can catch some people out that track. So it will produce some very interesting racing, I think.
Yeah, these boys got a very technical calendar ahead of them as we look at it.
Evening, guys.
Here we go. The man in second place, Mr. Ed Cullen. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, John. G'day, Chris, Pete, Scott.
Hey, Ed, how you going?
Yeah, I got a smile on my face after that one, mate. Every dog has his day. I was sitting there parked up in turn 3 there for a while, watching everyone go past. We had someone sit in on our caller today, which said go in and pit, get an early jump, and it worked out well.
Too easy.
Is that your numbers man, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we had a spotter, so it worked out really well.
No, you didn't have a spotter. You had a tactician. Yeah.
Yeah. Mathematician.
Yeah.
Tactician.
But they call it strategist, sorry.
Strategy. But it does make a difference when you've got somebody sitting there doing that for you and you can just concentrate on driving. So, and you can see the advantage of that. Takes the pressure off you.
Huge, Chris, huge. I mean, like, your eyes never leave the road, basically. I mean, you're going, he's going, you're coming up against, a lap car, yada, yada. Yeah. So I don't normally I've never had one. So it was a nice treat.
There you go. And of course, the other man...
Building a spotter, Ed, that'd be why.
He's dropping back out. And of course, the other man to talk to is Pete Latham, our race winner. Congratulations, Pete.
Yeah, a bit of a Bradbury bonnet.
You take it any way you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a W to your name, mate. Well deserved.
Yeah, I kept plugging away and had Ed on my tail and Todd and all them trying to fight to go past, and tyres were screaming at me. And yeah,
I heard the strategist was screaming at you too, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah. Watch him hit the ball. Look at him, he's going to hit the wall.
I was going to say, can we get a private tape of that to listen to?
I was giving him the hurry up. I said, don't you slow me down now. Come on, get a move on.
There you go.
Actually, hang on, guys. I'm just showing my age. I just said tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old's that?
That'll do, mate. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
So just to let you guys, does anyone you boys want to give a shout out to on behalf of the team?
Yeah, I can do. I'd like to thank the sponsors of the run in the series, and obviously teammates. It's always good fun and a bit of banter around there. And John for his putting his time in to give us a bit of a hand, and John Lee at Racecraft, and yourself, John, for organising most of this and putting it on and everything. It's great. Thank you.
Too easy. Yeah, on that.
You're supposed to say thank you to Garry Buckland for punting them all out of the way.
Just let Gaz know that the money's in the Yeah. On its way into his BSB.
Yeah, just look under the pot plant outside your door, Gary. The money's there, mate. Ready?
I couldn't
In the lead up. That's all right. I was going to say in the lead up to that, I was saying Ed was sitting in the prime position, but he ended up being too close in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, caught the fallout.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Well, that's racing, isn't it, boys? You know, until the fat lady sings, you just keep your foot into it.
That's pretty much it.
Were you singing a little bit early then tonight, Ed?
Hopefully that's the end of my bad spell.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to apologise to Greg and to Todd for what happened out the back there. Yeah, not usually how I do it, but
Some tough racing, Gary.
well, big apology to them guys. But yeah, that's not how I want to win a race.
No, it wasn't quite. How do I put it? It was a very tough little situation, and I think Greg a little bit unlucky, but also if you don't have a look, you don't put the pressure on. People don't make mistakes either. So
Correct.
And it's and I'll give you that there, Gary. It's one of those things in those situations. It happens in a split second. You've got no time to think about it. Greg ran a little bit long, got out of shape.
Yeah.
You've had the pace on, and it happens that quick. So it's not one of those things where it's like a long straight and you've decided to have a dive.
No,
it's just one of those things that occur in racing.
It is definitely not intentional. And as you say, he was squiggled and he went wide, and I thought, here we go, I'll get inside here, and he clipped back across, and I tapped him. And then poor Todd tapped him.
Yeah.
And I thought,
we were just talking about how these two, you and Greg, were pretty much toe to toe, and Todd was there watching, and Todd was waiting but didn't want to be the first one to the scene of the accident.
Oh, I was sweating on him being back there, don't you worry. And I had a good run at the last circuit at the Nürburgring with Greg. We had a good run through there for quite a few laps, and when I got up to him tonight, I thought, here we go again, let's get it on. But I felt I was faster than him toward the end there. I had better grip, I think, but I couldn't do much about it unless he made a mistake. And unfortunately, I went for it and it wasn't there. My bad.
That's right.
But hey, you guys put on such a good show. It's awesome. I'm heading off to watch it now.
On a positive note, Gaz, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cop a penalty, probably 30-second penalty. So.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the quality of the racing.
That's exactly what you got, Gaz. So.
Yeah.
From race control, that's what you've already got. Yeah, that's the issue.
There was some brilliant racing there. Even the split four guys that I had to get through were hard to pass.
Oh, they were, weren't they?
Yeah, very, very hard to pass.
The quality, the closeness of the racing, it's going to be exciting in the next few races.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, definitely.
Especially if Gary keeps driving through people.
Well, no.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. I promise you. I was 0 incidents till that point.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I was going to say, have we got Long Beach on the schedule soon?
No, not for these guys. So Okayama next week. And then we go to the track where you have not raced at in Vets, which I think is going to be quite interesting. We go to Snetterton 300 circuit. And then
Snetterton, yeah.
Yeah, and then Red Bull, and then Sandown. So they're the 5 rounds of this series. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Snetterton's going to be very interesting in the V8.
Particularly in this car, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think many people would have been there in many other cars either.
Will it fit around turn 1?
It should.
Do you reckon? How fast?
You'll be going in at about 120, 130 Ks. It's up to everyone else it's turn 2's the one that's the worry. That's the 90, that's the 180. Yeah, that's the 180.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll catch everybody
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, guys, I might wrap up the broadcast. Thank you to all the drivers. Thank you to our sponsors. And thank you to everyone that's been out there watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back again on next Monday. Do it all again. Looking forward to it.
Most importantly, John, before you go, if anyone's got a connection at Deep Heat or at Ibuprofen or any of those sorts of companies, we've got a league. They need your support to get through each and every week. So yeah.
Don't forget the Voltaren as well. You take them 2 days before you actually race.
Yep.
I'm not going there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
and not to mention 2 trips to the physio a week.
Yeah.
Leave that for another day. Anyway, on that note, I'll wrap up the broadcast and we'll
Righty.
see everybody again next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, John.
Okay, cool. Thanks all.
Thanks.
Introducing the Racecraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Racecraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Racecraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.